I sold Dedic to Villarreal, and I negotiated a £110 million offer from Liverpool for Scalvini. He's good, but he wants to leave, and we have some great prospects ready to step up. So I spent some time scanning the players my scouts found who are 19 or younger, looking for players with good potential that have good personalities such as professional or determined, and putting a lot of offers for future prospects. So a quick recap then, we have won 3 titles in a row, and we won our first Copa del Rey for 4 years. But with 2 quarterfinal exits and an embarrassing 9-0 semi-final exit, it's the Champions League we've been failing at. We have jumped up 2 spots in the European rankings, and a good Champions League is well overdue to bump us back up to the top. There are still some remaining debts left that are going to be there for a while. Ferran Torres has finally left the club to join PSG for £40 million. I decided not to change the tactic this season, sticking with one up top for now, with Jordan Ross starting the season up front. Mainly because we only have 3 out-and-out strikers to use right now, with a couple who need a little bit more development. And my decision was justified when Ross opened the scoring in a 6-1 victory against Betis to start the season off. He actually went on to score a hat-trick in this game, starting the season with a bang. Our Champions League group was drawn, and shock, we will play Manchester City yet again. We took an early season loss to Granada when missing both Jordan Ross and Ansu Fati, but looking at our attacking force, we are well and truly spoiled. From Ross up top to Rooney Bargi, Ansu Fati, Pedri, and now Jean Vicente, as well as Gavi. We have an unbelievable strike force. Transfer window closed, so let's take a brief look at the talent we have brought in. 8 players in total, all 19 and under when they signed, and all have decent potential with what looks like a good base to begin with, and really, for not too much money, with £13 million being the most expensive and only £14 million in total, the same price we sold Ferran Torres for. Good business. A relationship between Ross and Pedri flourished in the early part of the seasons, especially in this 5-0 win against Huesca, where Pedri scored 4 and Ross got 1, and all in the first half. Ross, though, really connected with any of our attacking players. He's an animal who just cannot be stopped, scoring numbers even beyond what Sesko has got us for in the past. And in the league, only Villarreal could stop us and hold on to a draw since that first loss. In the Champions League, we took 2 wins from 2 against Copenhagen and Roma, so we did really start well. In La Liga, we were trailing unbeaten Athletic Bilbao, but Jordan Ross has 12 goals in 8 games so far. He is an absolute stud at just 21 years old. We took the lead against Manchester City, but it didn't last long. Just 5 minutes later, Pedri's mistake led to Erling Haaland's interception, and Bernardo Silva equalised. Our defence in this game was awful. Haaland benefited yet again, with the second from poor positioning, and again for the third when Ederson's ball over the top wasn't dealt with by Carlos and Haaland smashed one in. We only conceded the 1 goal in October too, and continued to play amazingly well. Even Sesko got back in the action with a first half hat-trick in Ross's absence, and Vicente with 4 assists in that game. And we took that league form through November with another 3 wins, including a 4-0 win to Bilbao, which pops us top spot with Madrid chasing closely, a point behind and unbeaten. We even got our own back on Manchester City when we embarrassed them at the Camp Nou, Gavi picking up the first couple of goals to send us on our way to a 5-1 victory. Everything was going right for us, and the squad-wise, this could be our best yet. All good then, right? Wrong. We took a random loss to Roma in the Champions League, plus 2 really bad draws against Espanyol and Eibar. But still, with 20 games left remaining, 2 El Clasicos, we trail Madrid by just 3 points. And to no surprise at all, we drew Manchester United in the Champions League again. Francisco Carlos broke his arm, and while we will be missing him for a while, we head to the development centre to fill his role using Serbian summer signing Marjan Bojic, who looks quite promising. First League El Clasico, and we do still have a strong team with Vicente starting on the right and Baji sat on the bench. Pedri got on the end of Ross's header for the only goal of the game, in a very tight contest, just what we needed. Those points were then lost in a 5-2 loss to Real Betis. A huge offer then came in for Jean Vicente, which I don't want to accept. Stephen Goals handed in a transfer request, and it spurred a lot of offers, none of which I deemed high enough, and I offered him out for 40 million. Other bids for Dest and Recalde all rejected. And we eventually sold Stephen Gold for £31 million to Aston Villa. He's a good player, we just can't give him the game time right now, and a good profit was made. So we brought Eric Felipe up from Barcelona B to help the squad out. On we go forward, and the next couple of months were kind to us in La Liga, only dropping 2 points away to Real Sociedad. So many goals scored from many different players, including of course Jordan Ross. Just like a first half hat-trick against Getafe, where really he was just deadly off the back of some fantastic attacking plays from the quarterbacks behind him. First leg of the Copa del Rey semi-final against Real Madrid, and we take a commanding 2-0 win. Over to the Champions League and the Camp Nou versus United, where Jesus gave them the lead. Jane Vicente does well to cut inside on his left and grab the equaliser. But right on half-time, Jadon Sancho puts United back ahead. But in the 93rd minute, after piling on the pressure, English Youth Academy graduate Sonny Patterson scored to take us tied into the second leg, where another Englishman, Ben Worrell, scored the first goal in the second leg. And Old Trafford wept as Serginho Dest scored the last goal of the tie, eliminating Manchester United. Back to the Copa del Rey, and due to a lot of fixture congestion, we played a fully rotated squad and got destroyed 5-0. That's not great. 3 more wins and a draw continues a good run in the league though. PSG in the Champions League, and despite conceding the first couple of minutes, they went a man down when Hakimi got himself sent off, which then allowed us to mount a good comeback in a 4-2 victory where Ramon Mas, Rooney Badji and finally Nico scored the fourth. This put us in a prime position to make it to the semi-finals, but looking at that league, Real Madrid have fallen 9 points behind us. Another 3 losses for them and a draw, which is not great. What is funny is we actually play them on the final day of the season. But in a very entertaining second leg, both teams tried to one-up each other. Given our 2-goal lead from the first leg, we always felt safe and we won 7-5 on aggregate, taking us to the semi-final of the Champions League. And guess who's waiting for us in that semi-final? Of course, it's Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool. And it's over to Anfield for the first leg, so let's go. Of course, this is Scalvini's new team, but he couldn't prevent us from scoring the first from Alisson's weak clearance. But Ramon Mas made a big mistake for the equaliser, and then couldn't handle Chiesa, who then gave Liverpool the lead. Mo Salah scored right on the stroke of half-time to make it 3-1, but Trent gifted us a second, and Rooney Badji scored an unreal free kick to make it 3-3. Salah, however, put Liverpool back in front, and it took us until the 87th minute to score our fourth through Elias Akamak. 8 points clear in the league with 5 to go, so let's go straight into the second leg. It took half an hour for the deadlock to be broken when we slipped Rooney Badji through to slot one home. Liverpool simply had no response, and Jordan Ross got a second before Rooney Badji topped it off to put us in the final of the Champions League for the very first time. And of course, it had to be Manchester City in the final as well. We wrapped up the league against our Catalan rivals Espanyol on a 4-0 win, even defeating Real Madrid 3-0 at the Bernabeu on the final day of the season. 4 in a row now, and Jordan Ross is getting 39 goals. Phenomenal. So it's over to Naggelsman City, and I am terrified. Haaland up front, Mbappe on the wing with Jeremy Pino, 2 former Barcelona midfielders and Lautaro Martinez on the bench. And the final was to be played at the Bernabeu. Within 4 minutes of the game beginning, Erling Haaland broke the offside trap and gave Manchester City the lead. 2 minutes is all it took for Jane Vicente to slot in an equaliser at the near post. And in the 13th minute, a very similar situation when Pedri found Vicente again to give us the advantage, 2-1. But this was Manchester City, and Erling Haaland held the ball up to lay it off for Ilyas Mariba, who smashed one in to make it 2-2. And our defence got caught napping moments later, where Jeremy Pino was found to chip the goalkeeper. And unfortunately, we gave all we could give, and Erling Haaland scored City's 4th. So close, but not close enough. Another year of development and maybe even a 2-striker tactic, we could have an even better season. Jordan Ross scored 54 goals and with just 49 starts, and Jane Vicente with a very impressive first season too. So let's pick ourselves up and go again. Jordan Ross is now a superstar. Vicente is a stud too and has developed incredibly well. And plenty to be positive about in the development centre, with a lot of targets to go for around the world. Domestically, we say happy retirement to our biggest rival, Don Carlo. What a legend. City have come in with a bid for Jordan Ross, which I obviously expected would happen, and I reject it anyway. Wow, £140 million bid for him now. If it wasn't for the fact that we financially were quite great, I would probably accept. I've also set up a 2-striker tactic to try in the games where we should be dominating, because occasionally we do draw these games, as well as the third tactic against these tricky sides where we seem to fall in Europe, where we will try to adopt a more traditional Barcelona 4-3-3. We also promote Jordi to the first team to contend with Ansu Fati from the left, and even up front. Jordi is a player who came through the youth academy, with players like Goita going out on loan for some extra development. But we have made some signings bringing in some potential future first teamers, and all for the total cost of just £23 million. I then sold 3 players who were around 22, who are not quite good enough for the first team to make some profit this month, including Kevin Clement, who, if you remember, we signed for a free transfer and sold a couple of seasons later for 15 million. First game of the new season, and Sevilla is the opponents. And we are going to rock the 2-striker tactic. Sesko and Ross up front, Fati from the left, Pedri in behind, and James Vicente on the right. Deadly. And we were definitely right to go for it, as we dominated Sevilla and scored 5 goals without a response, with 27 shots and 13 of them on target. It could have been a lot worse for Sevilla. And that's Jose Mourinho's side too. He does get around. Speaking of managers, Roger Smidt has taken over the Real Madrid job. And this 2-striker tactic is working, by the way. 12-0 away win. Sesko with 3, Jordan Ross with 6. And that is the biggest win in La Liga history. The Champions League group has been drawn. Juve is our biggest test. And the first 3 games, I thought I would risk the 2-striker tactic. 5-0 against Smidt. Then we went on to score 4 goals in an away trip, 4-1 to Juventus. Topped with another away win to Porto, 3-1. So I felt quite comfortable playing it for the rest of the group, where we went on to beat Porto 4-0, Juventus 6-3, and our second 11 unfortunately got a 1-1 draw with Smidt. Of course, we topped the group and will face Inter Milan in the knockouts. So let's focus on the first half of La Liga. I looked towards the 2 up top tactic for a while and popped off with more results like this 9-1 win. In some games, it genuinely felt like there was a massive competition between Sesko and Ross who was going to get the first 50 goals this season. Because let me tell you, these guys did not stop scoring. Like this 6-1 win over Villarreal, where they both got, again, a hat-trick. And the first time a team stopped us from taking all 3 points was Celta Vigo in a 4-4 draw at the Camp Nou. But the date of this game was the 8th of December. We have literally won every single game other than that draw in the league so far, including a victory in El Clasico, where we really welcomed Roger Smidt into the league with a 5-1 victory at the Bernabeu. It seemed like the 2-striker tactic is just too strong attacking-wise to contain, and with our attacking talents, nobody stands a chance. 11 points clear after just 17 games, and Jordan Ross with 27 goals, Sesko just behind him on 23. Could this be our year? Find out in the next episode, and if that's out, I'll pop it up on the screen right now, but if it isn't, subscribe, and thank you very much for all of your support on the Youth to Gold series.